In my quest to leave a mark on the culture and make hip-hop proud, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of The Essence. The Essence is presented by TED TV and powered by Validated Magazine. I am your host, KB Tyndall. Today, I have a West Coast MC that was born in the Inland Empire and raised in San Bernardino. He grew up as an avid fan of gaming and comic books. He's been inspired by the most common and uncommon artists, from Jay-Z to WALE to LUPE, FIASCO, LLOYD Banks to the legendary NIRVANA and DAFT Punk. His early album influences were actually Guerrilla Warfare from the Hot Boys and, of course, the Slim Shady LP by the one and only EMINEM. He has released a full-length project almost every year since 2010. He has a strong presence in the game with over a decade of time in as an artist. His raps exude references of street life that he scarcely avoided, along with some knowledge and pain, comedic humor, and of course, that strong sense of bravado that any pure MC brings to the table. Now, I last interviewed him back in 2017 when he won the Open Bar Challenge from my guy, DJ Caesar, on the Weekend Work Show with Coach PR on Sirius XM and Shade 45. And in the last 7 years, he's been consistently putting in work. He's touched multiple platforms, including Bootleg Kev a couple of times. Most recently, last month, where he dropped a 7-minute freestyle. He won the Corner Store Challenge and tore that platform down as well. Today, we're going to get into all the smoke about everything from his upbringing to what keeps his pen sharp. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to episode 56 of The Essence, the one and only Cam Archer.
That was a very in-depth intro, man. Thank
you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. You know, I had to go back and do, you know, some research and everything on you, man. Let me just, you know, run this down right quick. The last time we spoke, you had actually just dropped Cocomania on SoundCloud in 2016.
Jesus Christ, man. Man.
Since then, you've released multiple projects, including Spirit Gunner, Inside Voices, No Apologies, Midnight Run, El Guapo 2 and 3, Cam is Outside and Don't Mention It, The Pleasure Is Mine. Too many singles to mention, including your latest one, What You Make It, featuring Kid Dryden. Tell me, man, what keeps you motivated to keep putting out bodies of work that you know, the way that you do, man? What keeps you from getting frustrated with this game?
I mean, my whole creative process is basically more so about, you know, me, myself, and what I'm going through in life anyway. So a lot of times I fall into the same pits of, you know, those artistic holes that I feel like every artist probably falls through if they're like, you know, a lot like me. So you get in those moments, you're like, man, I ain't putting nothing else out. I'm tired of this. You know, I feel like we all fall into those pitfalls, but I feel like eventually, if you really love the craft, like you're gonna want to, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to keep putting stuff out, and it's kind of just almost like for the sake of your own mindset. So that's kind of how I look at it. Like this is more so for me than it is for anybody else. Like I got to keep putting out quality work to keep myself, you know, in a place of peace mentally. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I feel you on that, definitely. I noticed a trend in a lot of your projects, man. You don't have a lot of features on your projects. Yes. Is that by design? Why is that usually the case?
I don't want to say it's by design. I think a lot of the times, like, well, I mean, I look at it a few different ways. Like when I'm putting out like an album, a lot of times I go into it with an idea and like kind of like a whole fleshed out concept in my head when I start anyway. Okay. So a lot of the time I kind of look at it as how am I going to paint this picture and tell this story? Like I don't even think about other people being involved. I'll try to be better at that. So it's usually, I try to keep it more than just, you know, I usually have like singers I want to put on there or something like that. But I don't usually have too many rappers. So I'm trying to work on that as I work on these newer projects. I'm trying to like, you know, think like, okay, who else would I put on this? You know, if I were to put a verse on it, who would be on it? That type of thing. But yeah, a lot of times that's where my head goes with it, is more so vocally who can help me do who can bring what I can't bring to this project. Okay. As a lyricist already. And oftentimes, you know, maybe it's a little bit me stacking my plate a little too much, but yeah, I usually just end up not needing any other rappers on there.
Do you not to knock any other artist or anything like that, but do you find that your level of competitiveness and your level of lyricism is not what a lot of artists bring to the table today?
I don't want to say that. I feel like I'm pretty fortunate to, at least in my circumference of people that I work with. I can't say that. I can say that anybody that is usually around me is pretty lyrically inclined. I don't have to worry about like, oh, it's so and so. If I hit so and so up for a verse, is it going to be good or anything like that? I don't have to worry about that. So I'm pretty fortunate from that standpoint. But yeah, I feel like there are some pockets where that could be an issue, but fortunately for me, I don't have that issue.
Okay, got you. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a ton of lyricists out there. Sometimes you got to search for them. They're out there. You know,
that's a fact.
It's just unfortunate that the mainstream doesn't really focus on a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of us probably don't even really listen to mainstream music that much. You know, we probably search for what's more on the underground side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of like I like to keep that balance, but yeah, it's I can see where the separation hits.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the one MC or producer that you work with regularly that brings out your sharpest pen game?
I feel like as far as production goes, I mean, I've been working with Leotus since Coca Mania very heavily. So he always, it's just kind of like we mesh very well. So he knows exactly what I'm looking for, and I know that his beats are so dope. I don't have a choice but to go crazy on his beats. Like it's almost like it's almost disrespectful if I don't. So him, and then also I work very closely now with another affiliate of mine, Nabeyin, Grammy nominated producer. You know, he's worked with a lot of people. He's also from the Inland Empire, from San Bernardino, and just working with him.
What's the name?
Nabeyin.
Nabeyin. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Ghanaian American producer. He just was on the Travis album. He's produced on Drake's albums. He's like been on everything. He's produced for Jamla artists. For Nights Camp. He works with everybody. He's very multifaceted. But we have like a different dynamic as opposed to me and Leo, where it just kind of flows naturally. Nabeyin he'll be more hands-on with the input of, oh, this hook should sound like this, or you should redo this verse or something like that, or he has his ideas of things. So that brings a whole different vibe to the table than what I would normally have. So that's always a welcome thing too.
Okay. All right. What's your earliest memory of hip hop?
My earliest memory I don't even know if this counts technically, but my earliest memory of hip hop is Positive K.
Okay.
That would technically be my earliest memory.
That definitely counts, bro. For real.
That was the first song that I was singing when I was really little, that my mom was one of the first songs that was like rap anyway.
Which one? Which Positive K song?
That What Your Man Got to Do with Me. That was, yeah. So apparently that was my joint according to mom. She said that I was real big on that record. So
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, so I was probably like 3 years old, like singing that song, and my mom was tripping out about why would I be singing that song.
That's dope. That's super, super dope. I think MC Lyte was the female on that song, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's super dope. What's been your most memorable moment as an artist so far?
My most memorable moment as an artist, probably. Well, I got a couple now. So I mean, the first time I opened for Lupe was probably the first time I got like that moment of, oh, like people realize and respect how I do this that don't even know me. That was the first time I had people like, I was selling CDs and stuff, and I ran out of CDs, and people were like, I don't care if you have any more here, just take money. They were like, we just want to see you keep doing your thing. And that was important because maybe a year later, I would open up for him again at a different venue, and there were people in the crowd that came to see him, like waiting in line as I was going in for sound check, who recognized me and were like, yo, I still got the shirt, I still got the CD. Like they were excited that I was there to open for Lupe. So that was pretty big for me to kind of give me that validation of, okay, it's not just people in my city. It's not just, when you got friends who just want to support you, it's more than that. Like the talent is really something I could probably do something with. And just recently having a song produced by Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park was like pretty mind-blowing for me. So that was those are probably the two things that are up there the highest right now.
Yeah, man. You like I said, man, you've been by all standards, you've been consistent. You know what I mean? Even if you
Yeah.
feel like you haven't been in certain areas or you took some time off and didn't put out a project as quickly, you know, just looking at the body of work, man, it's very consistent, man. You know, and I think that's where a lot of artists fail. Like they're so gung ho on just trying to get the one hit record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't grasp the concept that continuing to write no matter what is the goal. Like always keep writing, always keep putting out work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done that, bro. So I commend you on that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw you accept an award for the Only Empire Now Verse of the Year for Cotton Heavy.
Yeah.
You mentioned your competitive spirit as well, the multitude of talent that needs to be recognized in the IE. What's the mission to get more of these artists recognized, and what's the energy like in the IE? Like, are the bulk of these artists supportive of each other, or is there some type of tension that goes on in different places and stuff like that? Talk to me about that a little bit.
I feel like the only issue with the IE right now is just how many different demographics and pockets there are musically, because it's such a big area. I mean, there's millions of people here. So the only downside I could really say is people are supportive, but they're supportive of the people within their pocket. So it doesn't always expand out of that. So there's no like, I would never say there's any like tension or like, I don't want to say, I feel like every city probably has a little bit of
A
that
little bit,
crab in a
right.
bucket, you know what I'm saying, mentality. But for the most part, like each pocket is super supportive of everybody in their pocket, but it's just in their pocket. And there's so many different styles that it might seem like there's a divide or a difference. It's just people don't know who's who. There might be a lot of people who might not even know who I am in the IE just because of how the pockets are separated. So it's really on us as artists to kind of try to bridge the gap as much as we can and bring everybody together to kind of let, you know, help people to realize like, yo, there's so much talent out here. There's talented lyricists, there's talented artists making commercial style music, if you will. That we do everything out here. So it's just a matter of making sure that we display that as much as we can, as often as we can.
That's what's up, definitely. 2 albums in 2023. Don't mention that the pleasure is mine and Cam is outside. What has the feedback been on those albums outside of your circle? Like, has it opened up doors? Have you gotten surprised people coming at you saying, damn, bro, I listened to these projects and you've gained new fans along the way? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, the thing about Cam is outside is that was just me ultimately being petty.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why that project happened. That was just some me being petty, kind of just showing that I have one of the most versatile pens in my city, period. So I can do whatever I want to do. I do a lot of what I do by choice.
Right,
Like you can't
right.
box me. You can't box me into any sound. I can do whatever I want. So that was the kind of the point of Cameras Outside, was to do that. And it was dope because it got like a lot of love from like people who aren't in my quote unquote pocket of like the kind of like the rappers, you know what I mean? It kind of let them know like, oh yeah, Cam can do whatever he wants. He got it. Like
Right.
and that's it was just kind of like, I know. It was just reminding y'all that I can do that. And it's just by choice. So that's why it was called Cam is Outside. There was a specific list that came out that my name wasn't mentioned in by somebody who wasn't from the city.
Okay.
It was by somebody, this list was made by somebody who wasn't even from the city. So when they asked,
Mm.
like, people were asking, like, Cam, why aren't you on this list? I just replied to them at the time, I'm not outside. I'm in the house. I'm not outside trying to get on lists like this.
Right,
But
right,
don't get it twisted. If I want to be on something like this,
right,
I can
right.
be on something like this. So that was the impetus for that. Don't mention that the pleasure is mine was actually, it's a compilation that I did for a show that I was doing at the Viper Room. I got on a bill at the Viper Room and I was really excited about it. So I wanted to do something for people who were gonna buy a ticket to that show. So I put
Okay.
together this compilation of songs that I knew had songs from when I went to New York and recorded out in New York at Quad and at Platinum Sound. And I had some
Okay.
songs that just kind of sitting in the tuck that I was like, I don't know where these are gonna go. So I may as well just let people hear them instead of just sitting on these records. So I put together this compilation for anybody who bought a ticket, but that was the year prior. So I was like, you know what? This project never went on streaming. I'm gonna put it on streaming. And what I liked about doing that was I like to see how songs are gravitated towards when you don't force them first as a single.
Okay.
So this is the first time I put out just a collection of songs and been like, okay, what are you actually like, without me telling you this is the song you should like. So that's been cool to get the feedback on that and see what people are actually gravitating towards to listen to.
Okay, got you. Um, where did the competitive spirit come from for you, man? Did you play sports as a kid, or like where does it come from prior to the music?
I'm a sports addict.
Okay.
Everything I ever wanted to do in life was revolved around sports. My whole view of things was revolved around sports. Like everything in my childhood was pretty much sports. I wanted to be a baseball player, then I wanted to be a basketball player. My pops
Okay.
played on a few teams professionally in football, but he couldn't stay healthy.
Okay.
I'm built. I should have played football. I was supposed to play safety, just didn't happen that way. Allergic to
Right,
grass, so
right,
that was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like just different stuff. Like, but and just I'm a big pro wrestling fan. Obviously, I love all that
right.
stuff. So it's like I've always had a competitive nature within me to my detriment sometimes. So it. So I guess rap was the next natural step. I
Hell
guess
yeah.
yeah, because that's all rap is really, right? You know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
competitive at its essence. So it was
Competitive
the
bragging, you know what I mean? With the best
exactly.
wordplay. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So once I realized, oh, I'm actually nice at this, and then I felt like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm realizing I'm not just nice, I'm better than a lot of people at this. It was kind of like
Right, right.
it was no time for me that I was like, no, we're gonna step this up and go as
Yeah,
crazy as
yeah.
we can with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you continuing to work. You know what I mean? Even from when you did the open bar challenge and DJ sees the picture as the winner and you went to New York. Like I had just
Mhm.
came to Cali at that time. I came out here in 2015. That was around 2016, 2017-ish. And yeah, man, just to see you continuing to work. Because what happens is a lot of artists, man, and I'm sure you've seen this, they come out and you're like, yo, you dope, like you really fucking nice, and then all of a sudden they just fall off, they just disappear.
No,
They
absolutely.
yeah, they just don't want to stay on top of actually chasing. I won't even call it chasing the dream. I would just say, stay on top of just being a creative person. You know what I mean? And just
Mhm.
constantly doing some type of work. But I've seen you do that, man. So that's super super commendable, bro. Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
I know when we last spoke, so a long time ago, at one point you said before becoming a rapper that you thought you were maybe going to design video games. I know
Mhm.
you still play, and are you trying to make something happen with any video game companies? Like if you have already, and I'm just not aware of it, having your music featured in some, or any possibilities of being a creative mind behind developing.
Not in that I've definitely like tried to get my music into games and try to contribute it that way, but I haven't done anything as far as like, and I've worked alongside like Mega Ran and stuff like that. So I get to pick his brain about like, how would I go about this if I were gonna do this? Because he's like basically sponsored by Capcom. So he's very tapped in
Okay.
and is very aware of how it goes. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to pick his brain on stuff like that, but not as of yet. Like I haven't been able to, and I've definitely pitched my music to video games,
Mhm.
video games, commercials, all that good stuff. But
Right.
the time just hasn't come yet. But I'm patient. I'm fortunate to, and also like, oh gosh, Leotus and Nabeyin as well. They do a lot of syncing and licensing stuff. They've had their music used in a lot of places.
Mhm.
The one thing that it wasn't a video game, but the one thing I was fortunate enough to be a part of was there was a show produced by LeBron James that ended up on ESPN called Big Shot, Best
Okay.
Shot, and me and my camp, we basically did the entire soundtrack for that, and that was like on Warner Brothers and got released. So I got to do that, but
Okay.
nothing video game wise yet, but it'll happen soon. I feel like it's gonna happen. I believe that it will.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, is there a plan B?
Is there a plan B outside of music?
Yeah.
All my plan B, even if it wasn't music, it would still be some form of entertainment. So the only thing that I would do outside of this, and I've done some of this as well, is probably voice work, things of that
Okay.
nature. Um, I was fortunate enough to do a NBA commercial for when Vince Carter was retiring.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to do the NBA Canada commercial for that, where they were kind of like paying homage to Vince.
I
So
gotta look it
I've
up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I've been able to dip my toe and stuff like that. and that led me to a couple other gigs that, you know, helped at a time when it, you know, the money was, I needed a little bit of bread, and out of nowhere, here comes a voice job. So
Right.
it's been, it's been cool, man, to have those opportunities like that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
voice
I've
is
definitely,
big. Yeah.
yeah, definitely something I would look into, and I've continued to look into avenues of doing stuff like that. But yeah, I try to not think about the safety net too often, but that would definitely
Hmm.
be it if I can't get the music off to a level that I would be comfortable with.
Right. Okay. All right. What can people expect from you upcoming, man? Like, what, like, as far as merch is concerned, as far as other projects that you're working on, or anything that they should be looking out for from Cam Archer in the near future.
I'm currently working on a project. Technically, it'll be like a double thing, but me and Nabeyin are working on a project. We've been working on this on the low key for 5, 6 years. It's called Banner Boys.
Okay.
We're gonna drop that pretty soon. We're putting the touches on that, adding features versus, you know, vocalists, things of that nature. To that, I have a camp known as OE over everything. Myself, Jay Kasai, Nicholas Gray, CJ Wesley. We rap on everything, and then of course, Nabi and oh gosh, Leotus produced everything. We did a week camp where we knocked out like almost 30 songs, and we cleaning all that up to put that out as a project this year as well. And
Okay.
then after that, I'm gonna start working on my, as I like to call it, the album, because I feel like I haven't done like an album, like a true
Okay.
album in the essence of what I do in a while, and that's always gonna pick at me and needle at me. But at the same time, I know I need to do this one correctly because I'm really passionate about the concept that I have behind it. So
Okay.
that'll be the next step. So that might come out this year. It might come out next year. I'm not really gonna rush it, but within, you're gonna get a lot more music from me, for sure, whether it's on an album, an EP, whatever that may be, in the next 12 months for sure. And I'm working on some more shows out of state as well right now. I was actually just talking to somebody. I was emailing back and forth with some people about pulling up on some of their dates and
Okay.
rocking a few shows out of state. So yeah, just trying to keep busy, man. Trying to stay as busy as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question, man. In the spirit of hip hop turning 50 years old last year, man, what does hip hop mean to you?
Hip hop was literally what gave me the voice that I have in general, just the level of confidence that I was able to develop as I became an adult. Without hip hop, I wouldn't even have that, because that helped me realize what my strengths were. Hip hop, I'm pretty sure not on purpose, helped me realize that I can accept criticism for the things that I do without taking it as a complete slight on me as a person. Hip
Right.
hop showed me all of that. Like, there was very young, immature, just not used to these, everything is an attack kind of
Right.
mindset. When you have that, and then you put yourself out in any form or facet to the world, you're gonna have to accept criticism in that light, because it's no longer just yours. You just
Right.
gave it to a bunch of people to take part in, or just take
That's
apart. So hip hop gave me that, and it just continues to give me a voice, man. If I don't know where I would be, in all honesty, if I wasn't able to have a creative outlet the way that I do in music.
That's what's up, man. Yo, Cam, man, it's a pleasure to catch up with you, brother. You know what I mean? I'm always watching, man. I'm always looking. You know what I mean? So it's good to see you continuously working, man, and still, like I said, I wouldn't say chasing the dream, but just chasing who you want to be. You know what I mean? Who you want to present to the people, man. And that's a super important thing, man. So I commend you, man, and thank you for taking the time out to lock in on this interview with me, man. We are definitely gonna I'm gonna get some pictures from you. I'm gonna hit you up because this is gonna be edited. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on Instagram and everywhere else. But we are also gonna put you in the next issue of Validated magazine. So I'm gonna get some pictures from you. This is also gonna be transcribed for the article as well. And that's gonna be in the next issue, man. So once again, man, thank you, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, bro. Stay up, man.
You too, man.
All right.
Peace.